When I started dating again after my divorce, I was 53. Everyone warned me it would be awful. People said dating apps were terrible, that men were unreliable, and that finding love later in life was almost impossible. But you know what? That was not my experience at all. I dated actively for about a year and a half, and I met the men through dating apps, including the man I love. And along the way, few things really kind of surprised or shocked me about dating again after 50. In this video, I want to share you 4 things that surprised me the most and why they might completely change how you think about dating in midlife and beyond. Number 1, most men were actually very nice. The first thing that surprised me was how many genuinely nice men I met. Before I started dating, I had heard so many horror stories, and you can probably relate. Friends told me that dating apps were terrible. People said the men were rude, dishonest, and unreliable. So I expected the worst. But when I started going on dates, I had completely different experience. Most of the men I met were kind, respectful, and interesting to talk to. Of course, most of those dates didn't lead to anywhere, but that was not the point. I remember leaving several first dates thinking, wow, that was actually really nice conversation. And that changed something for me. Instead of expecting disappointment, I started seeing dating as simply meeting new people. Number 2, attraction was still rare, just like when I was younger. The second thing kind of surprised me, how rare real attraction still is. Sometimes we think that when we're older, we should be less selective or that it should be easier to feel attraction. But that's not really how it works. Many of the men I met were, like I said, kind and interesting, but the romantic spark just wasn't there. At first, I kind of wondered if something's wrong with me, and kind of friends told me that I'm too picky. And then a dear friend reminded me of something important. She said, don't you remember how you were in your 20s? Almost no one caught your attention then either. And I suddenly realized she was right. In some ways, we are still the same people we were when we were younger. And that is actually wonderful. It means you have a unique heart and a unique way of connecting. Number 3, many people are surprisingly unclear about what they want. Another thing that kind of shocked me was how many people seemed, lost. It was as if people were dating because they just felt they should find someone, but they really hadn't thought about what they wanted. And clarity matters so much in dating. When you know what kind of relationship you want, it changes the way you meet people. It changes the questions you ask and the decisions you make. What I noticed again and again was that many people were hoping for connection, but they hadn't taken the time to define what that meant for them. Without clarity, dating can feel very confusing. Number 4, when love finally came, the timing felt perfect. The final thing that kind of surprised me was how perfect the timing felt when I finally met my partner. During that year and a half of dating, I definitely had moments of frustration, and I remember feeling impatient at times and wondering when it would actually happen. But when I eventually met the man I love, something became very clear. Everything that happened before, every date, every disappointment, every moment of waiting had led me exactly to the right moment. Looking back now, I honestly wouldn't change a thing. The timing was right because I had grown and learned and become clear about what I wanted. And that is so valuable. If you're dating again after 50 and feeling discouraged, I want you to remember something. Your experience doesn't have to match the negative stories you hear. Sometimes dating can actually be more honest, more thoughtful, and more meaningful than we expect. And sometimes it leads you exactly where you are meant to go. And if you would like more support on this journey, you'll find a link to my coaching in the description box below. Love and light. Bye.